Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the force that is Gary Whitta.
Good morning, Blessing. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Gary?
Good. I always enjoy hosting with you. It was a pleasant surprise when I logged in this morning and saw your face.
Yeah. No, I love it because we don't get to host together as often. I feel like it's always a nice surprise. How you doing? How you been?
I'm good. I'm excited. I woke up. I was very bummed out about not playing Ratchet and Clank yet. All these reviews dropped this morning. It's like everyone's loving this game. I guess I was wasting my time playing a stupid match 3 game this morning. I gotta get a real video game going.
What's your hype levels for Ratchet and Clank? Is that a game you've been looking forward to?
No, I mean not really. I mean, kind of a mixed bag because I'm not a fan of the Ratchet and Clank series in particular. I think they're all right. It's just not super duper my cup of tea. But I am a fan of like true next gen gaming, and it does seem like this is one of the first. I read a bunch of things today, like the first like real next gen PlayStation 5 game, best PlayStation 5 game yet, all this kind of stuff. So I'm excited about that. And then the reviews really are absolutely tremendous. Klepek was going nuts over it today. Danny O'Dwyer said it was solid, which I think for Danny is like very, very high praise indeed. Everyone's loving it. I think I could really enjoy it. The strange thing is my kid has no interest in it. I showed it to her. She's 9,
Really?
or she's gonna be 9 in a couple of weeks. And I said, look at this cute, furry animals running around in outer space with robots and stuff. What's not to like for a 9-year-old? And she went, couldn't be bothered.
See, I'm interested to see how you take to it and people who traditionally aren't fans of Ratchet and Clank take to it. Because I've had people ask me this morning, like tweet at me and ask, like, hey, is this if I didn't like Ratchet and Clank 2016, will this be a game that I get into? And my answer is kind of twofold. It is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is very much a Ratchet and Clank game. Like the core gameplay of it is pure Ratchet and Clank. And so if that
that was the vibe I was getting. Like they haven't reinvented the wheel or anything. It's just another Ratchet and Clank game. But again, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, if you're a Ratchet and Clank fan, that's going to speak to you 1000%. But if you're not, then I think it gets more interesting when you talk about the next gen-ness of it, because I think this is the PS5 showpiece. Like this is the game that is going to sell you on. This is what the PS5 can do. Like it is a beautiful game. Yeah, beautiful game.
But do you think it won't win over any new Ratchet and Clank converts?
I think it will. Like if you hate Ratchet and Clank, like if you played Ratchet and Clank 2016 or previous Ratchet and Clanks, I don't necessarily know if this is going to change your mind because the core gameplay is the same. But if this is your first Ratchet and Clank game, I think 1000% this is the one that's going to pull new people in. I think this is going to be the most successful Ratchet and Clank game.
And the interesting thing is, often with these cartoony style games, I wouldn't usually think this, but a lot of what I'm seeing is that people are saying like it's the best looking, technical showcase for the PlayStation 5 there is, which, coming from Insomniac, not terribly surprising. But yeah, I think what I really want to do, because we're 7 or 8 months into the next gen now, and I still feel like those experiences where you sit down and go, that kind of, now this is next gen, like, man, this is like really melting my eyeballs. Like those experiences I feel have been few and far between. So I'll take those wherever I can find them.
Oh yeah. We're going to continue to have this conversation, Gary, because today's stories does include a Ratchet and Clank review roundup. It also includes Superman and Rick and Morty coming to Fortnite and more, because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday at 10 a.m. live right here on twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. If you're watching live, you can correct us when we get stuff wrong by going to kindafunny.com/you're wrong. If you don't want to watch live, you can watch later on youtube.com/KindaFunnyGames, roosterteeth.com, or you can listen later on podcast services around the globe by searching for Kinda Funny Games Daily. To be a part of the show, to patreon.com/KindaFunnyGames, where bronze members or above get to write in, and silver members or above get the show ad-free with the exclusive daily post show. Housekeeping for you, it is E3 week. The general idea of how we're covering E3 is that we're reacting to pretty much almost everything. So if there's an event happening, check out twitch.tv/KindaFunnyGames to see if we're live. We probably will be. That all kicks off Thursday with the Summer Games Fest Kickoff. That's at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And because of E3, that means our schedule for a lot of shows and stuff is getting mixed around. Obviously, if there are events happening during our regular streaming time at 11 a.m., we're probably going to be reacting to something to E3 related. So don't expect the regular RE8 stream with me and Andy, but expect some of that reaction goodness. It should be a very good time. I am very excited for it. Gary, how excited for E3? Really?
Well, we were just saying before we went live, weren't we, that this doesn't really feel like an E3 this year because it's all virtual. So much of these big gaming conventions, I think, obviously there's the actual content, like what are the games that are being announced, what's the news, what's the actual kind of meat of it all. But so much of what creates that E3 vibe is all the stuff that goes on around it, right? The events, the excitement, the big venues packed full of people, the giant, extravaganza, all the multi-million dollar marketing budgets getting blown on these big things. Like that sense of excitement, I think, is hard to fully convert into a virtual form. And so I feel like there's no doubt this is going to be a diminished E3 this year. I think it will be an interesting, object lesson in, what is possible. Hopefully this will be the last one that we have to do this way. Hopefully by next year we'll be back to normal. I said earlier, like, who would have thought? Remember when we were talking like just over a year ago, we thought, oh, is E3 going to happen? If somebody had said to you, listen to me, Blessing, not only is E3 not going to happen this year, it ain't happening for real next year either. That's how bad this shit show is going to be. Like, you would have laughed at them, and yet here we are.
But Gary, you don't think
yes,
this
Kevin?
is similar to like E3s of years past, where like it's, I mean, for the most people don't go to the actual conferences. I feel like this is very similar to that. At least the way Kinda Funny covers stuff.
True.
Yeah.
That's true, but for the vast majority of people who don't go, they still get to watch the live streams that show those big packed out arenas. And look, we've seen this in sports over the past year, right? We've seen it in soccer over the past year. Big sports events taking place in front of empty stadiums, and they have to pipe in the fake crowd noise to try and create a sense of excitement that is missing, right? And you realize, wow, having a live audience, having a live crowd there is really a fundamental part of the experience. And whether it's Mark Cerny, giving a lecture to a bunch of cardboard, virtual cardboard cutouts, or people scoring goals in empty stadiums, there is that sense of without even the feeling of a live aspect, something is missing. I
just think that Nintendo has done that for years now, and it's been hit or miss, But sure. I think that we can expect cool stuff, even though there's not going to be a crowd. At least well-done things.
I think it's a mixture of things where there are certain things this E3 that I am going to miss. Like the having no stage shows this E3 is going to be a thing that I miss, because I think there is something special about the Xbox Microsoft E3 and having that crowd and seeing the stage and seeing all the Xbox consoles on stage for some reason. Remember when they did that, where I think they were advertising like some multiplayer games. And seeing them do that, I think it's such a hype thing, because you have moments like Keanu Reeves walking onto stage. I think you're gonna miss out on a lot of that, and then you're also gonna miss out on things like the post E3 coverage, like watching Giant Bomb and the Giant Bomb E3 couch. That is such a fun thing for me, and you're gonna miss out on that this year.
I mean that's a great example. Like the old Giant Bomb E3 house was, I was privileged to sit on that couch a couple of years, and it's a wonderful experience, and there is that sense, Blessing, of like, this is E3 traditionally has been a time when the video game industry literally physically comes together. We can't do that this year, and so the question is how much of that can be captured in this kind of virtualized form. I think something's going to be lost for sure.
But I do think that a lot of what we're going to see this year is going to carry forward into future years, where I would be surprised to see Ubisoft go from doing Ubisoft Forward into going back into a traditional E3 press conference, especially if this Ubisoft Forward that they're about to do is a hit. If this Ubisoft Forward is a success, then I think they continue doing this format for the time being, and probably for the ongoing future with E3. I think you're going to see less E3 in-person press conferences in future years than you're seeing, or than we have seen in the past. The thing for me that actually does make me excited is the fact that I feel like I've had buildup over the last year with not getting an E3 last year. I feel like there is so much hype built for me over the last 2 years waiting for E3 to return in any sort of form. And now that we have all the press conferences laid out, and I know E3 tweeted out the schedule this morning, the actual organized schedule for what the conferences are actually going to look like in order. And I'm super excited. I'm very excited for announcements purely. I'm gonna miss a lot of the in-person elements. I'm gonna miss a lot of the in-person coverage elements of it. But I think in terms of announcements, I can't wait. I can't wait for like the bigger conferences. I can't wait for Xbox. I can't wait for a lot of stuff.
No,
But
I
I do
mean,
wanna
like,
talk
so
about this
like you
more.
said, the actual content, the announcements. I'm always excited to hear, big surprising bombshell news about video games. And my big hope is, I've been saying this for weeks now, both on this show and on the Xcast, that people say, "What are you excited about? Are you excited about this or that?" And I keep saying, I'm excited about the thing I don't even know about yet. Like, what is the thing that is going to come out
Exactly.
of the blue? That was, oh shit, who knew they were doing that? Like the big super secret ones that they managed to keep secret, and already we're starting to see some leaks coming out in the final hours. Yesterday I saw some stuff, and I don't want to see the leaks. I start muting all the hashtags, because I want to be surprised in the way that they put a lot of effort into surprising you with this stuff, and I'd rather learn about it in a big curated exciting forum than in a tweet that says, oh, somebody just leaked this out. Like, come on, that's not how you want to find out about shit.
I 1000% feel that. I want to keep talking about this. We have a question coming up later in the show about E3, and I think we're going to talk about E3 also in the post show. But before we get there, I do have to finish housekeeping. So speaking of your favorite shows, the Kinda Funny Gamescast is bringing you the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart review. That is live as of this morning. It's me, it's Greg Miller, it's Tim Geddes, it's PSILY, it's Andy Cortez, it's Joey Noel. We all played through Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Some of us multiple times. You can go check that out right now on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. And then right after this episode of Kinda Funny Games Daily, when I say right after, I mean like an hour after we record, PS I Love You is going to record an FAQ. All your questions, all your Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart questions, we're going to answer them. That's going to be me, that's going to be Tim Geddes, and that's going to be the one and only Steve Saylor, aka the Blind Gamer. And so if you've listened to the Kinda Funny Gamescast, or if you just have questions specifically about Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, you can go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames, get us your question, and we will answer your questions on that episode. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Donovan Harkness and Blackjack. Today we're brought to you by Honey, Caviar, and Credit Karma, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number one. Before I even say the title of this one, Gary, how much Fortnite do you play?
None.
Okay, then the story isn't going to pertain to you. And so I'm going to be talking directly to Kevin Coelho with this one.
Story number one, Rick... wide open.
Well, listen, blessing, as you all know, just because I don't know about something not going to stop me from having an opinion. I'm on the internet.
Of course. I'm excited to hear both of your opinions on this one. As somebody who isn't as into Fortnite, and then somebody who is obsessed with Fortnite. Story number one, Rick from Rick and Morty is coming to Fortnite Season 7, along with Superman. This is from Austen Goslin at Polygon. And Kevin, I got a trailer you can pull up that's advertising Season 7 Invasion that you can pull up as I'm reading through. Fortnite's newest season is here, and it's bringing some serious star power to its new Battle Pass. For Chapter 2, Season 7, Fortnite players will get their own customizable alien in keeping with the theme of the season, as well as Superman and Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. Unfortunately, the Season 7 Battle Pass only has the Rick half of the Adult Swim show's dynamic and dysfunctional duo, so we'll have to wait and see if Morty makes his way to Fortnite at some point during the season. On the other side, the DC universe has had many characters venture to the Fortnite island before, including a whole Batman spin-off comic, but this is the Man of Steel's first appearance. Now, I'm sad that Greg Miller isn't here, because I know Greg Miller is just pooping his pants right now. He's just soiling that thing on the plane. I don't know when this news came out. He might have already been in the air on his way to LA by the time we got this news. If so, sorry to that plane, because he had the senses, and boom, it all happened there. But Kevin, as somebody who loves Fortnite, how does this strike you? Does this get you hyped? Do you like this?
I am so excited. This looks like they're doing a bunch of crazy things. We're gonna get some weird weapons. I'm buying Rick. I'm buying Superman. Like, without a doubt, I am so excited for this. I'm not a big fan of the Superman design, but it doesn't
it's
matter.
Shiny, right? Like, he
it
looks
just
really
doesn't
shiny.
matter. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna get my money. They did it. Look at the way he's dropping in. Hey, hold on.
Yeah,
It's,
I love the
Yeah,
dropping in
the
animation where he's
dropping
doing
in,
the
yeah.
Superman pose.
Oh my god,
That
I
was
can't wait to
awesome.
be flying that way. Like this game, keep making deals, keep getting cool characters, and I'm gonna keep buying them. I love it.
Gary, does this do anything for you?
Nah, but I will say that I have tremendous admiration for what Epic have
Mhm.
created with Fortnite, but both as a creative and a commercial enterprise. It really is something, isn't it? I mean, the kids love it. It's still dominating the planet. Even in the face of all of this competition. Like, we talked about this the other day in the context of Knockout City. Everybody wants a piece of this market, right? Like Knockout City is clearly the result of a big meeting at EA where they put a spreadsheet up on the wall and a pie chart, and they talked about how Fortnite's dominating the universe and said, how do we get a piece of this moolah? Like there's a lot of money to be made here. How do we get some of these Fortnite dollars? And Knockout City, I think, is EA's response to that, and you're going to see many more as well. But I think it's going to be a while before Fortnite is knocked off its perch. It's going to be the gaming choice of 12-year-olds of all ages for quite a while to come. And what they're doing with all of the Star Wars and whether it's Rick and Morty or Superman, bringing you get to a point where a game has such critical mass that it actually becomes quite easy, I think, to make those deals. Like everybody wants to be a part of it. Like Star Wars, for example, I don't think was doing Fortnite a favor by being a part of Fortnite. They were helping each other. Fortnite helped Star Wars, because Fortnite is that big now. For a lot of 12-year-olds out there, Fortnite might be bigger than Star Wars, in terms of their kind of mind share and their, estimation and the way they view kind of the pop culture landscape around them. So it's become a huge, huge thing. It's a freight train. There's no end in sight. Well played, Epic. Don't forget, Fortnite was a dead game. A dead game. I remember playing it before Battle Royale came along, and it was just like no one was playing it. It was absolutely DOA.
I mean, do you
And then
remember how
somebody
long
said,
ago
"Hey,
they
let's put
announced
a."
it? They
What's that?
announced it forever. They announced Fortnite forever ago, and it was basically vaporware until they were like, "Oh yeah, it's coming out this year," and it came out. And yeah, to your point, it was dead. Like Fortnite was a game that for the longest time was an inside joke of like, "Oh yeah, Epic Games is doing this Fort game. Okay, cool. Oh, it has this fun art style. All right," and came out
Let's save the world,
dead
right?
and didn't have a hope.
Nobody cared. Nobody cared. And then I don't know what exactly the inside story is. Maybe someday someone will publish like an interesting oral history of it, and we'll get to the bottom of it. But for an outside observer, I think somebody probably said, "Well, look at what PUBG's doing. Battle Royale's really popular right now. Let's slap a Battle Royale mode in there and see if that will save it." Not only did it save it, it turned it into the biggest game on the planet. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah, I love what Fortnite does. I love the Rick and Morty thing specifically. There was
So
a while
good.
ago there were rumors of like rumors slash reports of Peter Griffin. I don't know
Yeah.
how much of those were just like people fucking around or how much of that was legitimate, but people were talking about Peter Griffin coming to Fortnite, and I got excited for that just because I thought that would be the most ridiculous thing. And seeing Rick actually end up in Fortnite, I feel like is just similarly like, okay, this is of that level of like a Family Guy character coming through. Like this feels so random, but also super welcome because it's ridiculous. And for
I
me, I'm excited to see what the trickle down effect is because Epic, of course, they have Fortnite, but they also have games like Fall Guys and they also have games like Rocket League. And I want to see how much we see that similar type of crossover and level of collaboration kind of trickles into those games because you imagine that Epic wants to make something like Rocket League and something like Fall Guys of a similar caliber as Fortnite, right? Fortnite, biggest thing in the universe, and Rocket League and Fall Guys feel like both have that similar level of family friendliness to them. But then also like they've implemented the battle pass, they've implemented a lot of Fortnite isms into those games, and I think there's potential there for all of them to work together in terms of trying to build up these skins, build up these collaborations, and make those games bigger by using those same efforts that they're doing with Fortnite, and building them back into those games. I want to see some of that happen. And to your point about Knockout City, right? Like I want to see other games take influence from Fortnite doing that. Of course, Knockout City Knockout City doesn't have the same leverage that Fortnite does because the audience just isn't as big as Fortnite because Fortnite is an anomaly, But
Well, and
I
also
think it would be
Knockout
cool
City
to
is
see some
brand new.
crossover, and it's also brand new, yeah. But I would love to see maybe 3, 4, 5, 10 seasons down the line a Knockout City skin that is based on like a DC universe thing, or a Knockout City outfit that is based on SpongeBob, or whatever collaborations they're able to get, because I love that type of stuff.
So Rick Sanchez and Superman being rolled out as part of the same update is interesting because it speaks to, again, just the breadth of the pop culture landscape that Fortnite is able to, draw from at this point, right? Like everybody wants to be in business with Fortnite. Like who wouldn't, right? Like if you've got a character or a property or anything out there and Fortnite comes to you and says, hey, would you be interested in, bringing one of your characters or your, things into our game? Of course you would say yes, because it can only be good exposure for whatever it is that you're doing. Rick Sanchez makes a lot of sense to me because it just makes so much perfect sense because you can see all the crazy weapons and science shit that he can employ. Like you could build, I'm sure, a really, really good Rick and Morty game, just a dedicated game around the idea of all the incredible like science weapons and
weirdly
things
enough, it'd probably be very similar to something like Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, so I can see how that makes a lot of sense. Superman's always a tough one though, isn't he? Because this is the reason why, or one of the reasons why we haven't had a good Superman game arguably ever, is it's really tough to do a character that's that powerful. I think it's particularly tough to bring him as a guest star into an existing world. Like, what are they going to like? I presumably he's not as powerful as Superman would be, right? Is he just going to be as squishy as everyone else?
For Fortnite, they're just skins. It's just have it look like that character. It doesn't.
Oh, well, that's dumb.
Any other
I don't like that.
No.
So it's basically just Superman Halloween costume. It's not
100%. 100%.
Yes,
and it's honestly, it's
but also it does have the cool thing where the
that
to me is
like that to me is like saying, "Hey kids, got a special surprise for you today. Superman is coming to talk to your high school." And all the kids go, "Oh shit." And then I fucking show up in a fucking Superman costume from the Spirit Halloween store. And the kid's like, "What the fuck is this?" That's now how I feel about
but they're
this.
dumb kids.
I'm less
That's
impressed.
ridiculous. But it's not just dumb kids. Like I love just being able to be like different characters. Like so I have a ton of characters on there, and you can make little preset builds that have characters with certain tools and weapon skins, and I love setting those up and setting the whole thing. I think I have like 35 slots filled, and I've set it all to random, and it's really exciting when I get like someone I haven't been in a while, like, and I can't wait for Superman and Rick to be in that rotation. It's dumb, but like it doesn't change the gameplay. It keeps everything fair.
I can't blame DC. I can't blame DC Comics or Warner Brothers or Glaxo Industries or whoever the fuck owns these characters these days. Money's money, right? And they're not going to say, "Oh, well, we don't think that Superman should do this or that." They're going to take the money. I totally get it. But to me, the idea of Superman running around with a bunch of guns, that's fucked up. I don't like that.
I mean, that's what it is.
Superman doesn't use guns. He doesn't need them. He wouldn't use them even if he did. No.
Right, but
Don't
this,
like
again,
it.
like you're right.
On it now.
This is an actual Superman licensed costume. That's all it is. It doesn't give you any abilities or anything. You do have a way of flying in that is going to be the Superman fly, but that's all it is.
Yeah, and see, that's what I love. That's the reason why I love it so much is that for the Thor costume, I love my Thor costume. One, because it's a really good looking costume, but then also you get the Thor's hammer thing, and so my dive-in animation is me being guided by Mjolnir. And I like. It's shit like that makes
it so
dope. Even though it's not technically like Thor gameplay, but it's like
it's
cosplaying,
so
right? It's like make believe. I think that's the thing that makes it fun.
All right, well, enjoy.
I will. I can't wait.
I love you, Gary. Story number 2, we got Ratchet and Clank, a review roundup for you right now. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is sitting at an 89 on Metacritic and an 89 on OpenCritic. Of course, we had our Kinda Funny Gamescast go up this morning, and so you can catch our review there. We all loved it. Spoilers. It's a game that is a fantastic game, but I think what makes it even more fantastic is how well it is utilized as a PlayStation 5 showcase and how beautiful it looks. Like we were talking about this before, but it is one of the best looking games I've ever seen. Like there's legitimately one scene where I landed on one of the early planets and got out of the spaceship as Rivet, and I looked into like the sky, and the way that the sunlight was peering through the trees and the particle effects were going, one of the most beautiful sights I've seen in a video game. It is incredible. And so again, check out the Kinda Funny Gamescast if you haven't. I'm gonna cite a few different reviews here, starting with Jonathan Dornbush at IGN, who gave it a 9 out of 10 and said this: Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a stunner. It not only gives the latest generation of consoles a game that looks as beautiful as the improved tech promise, but it's also a fantastic experience to play. Insomniac has been around the Ratchet and Clank block plenty of times before, but Rivet and the other new Ratchet characters add so much charm, wit, and heart to a franchise I've loved for most of my life. That's coupled with series best action platforming gameplay and incredible art and sound design across the board. Rift Apart may not be the biggest adventure around, but its big heart, wild weapons, and incredible detail easily make it one of the most memorable of the year so far. Andrew Reiner at Game Informer gave it a 9 out of 10 and says most missions that Ratchet and Rivet undertake are good fun and often deliver huge set piece moments with story sequences sewn right into them, just like Insomniac's Spider-Man games. You can freely move between planets and determine if you want to tackle a side mission or the next story beat. Some enemy types are repeated a little much, especially in the arena, but the action is nicely diversified and the flow between locations is excellent. I wasn't a big fan of the Clank or Spider-Bot minigames, but they offer a breather at the right times from the frenzied combat. And then one more from Jeff Grubb at GamesBeat. Jeff gave it 5 stars and says, I love Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart because it is a fun and beautiful adventure. It's not about sending you loose to stumble across objectives and side activities in an open world map, and I love that type of game. But I also love what Insomniac is doing here by propelling you through a non-stop thrill ride where everything you do unlocks the next fun and cool thing to do. And sure, the shooting is good instead of great, and Insomniac slapped on some out-of-place puzzles, but none of this ever overstays its welcome. Gary, you mentioned that like you're not like a huge Ratchet and Clank person by any means. This morning, once the reviews went up, how did that change at all? Like your excitement level for Ratchet and Clank, for where you're at right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It totally. That was when it turned me around on it because I wasn't in any way negative. I was just kind of like ambivalent about it. Like, yeah, maybe I'll give it a try. Like, again, not the big. I played the last one. I played the 2016 game, and I liked it well enough. It wasn't like I didn't have like a huge amount of anticipation or excitement for this next one until I woke up this morning and saw, my feed was just nothing but Ratchet and Clank reviews, and I was like, wow, it's really that good. And that's one of the ways that reviews can still really influence us, right? Like I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But when the reviews are that emphatic about this happens all the time. When like I might be excited about something and the reviews are absolutely terrible. Sometimes that will put me off, and sometimes it won't. Like I like to make my own, I make my own decision. Things. The only opinion I really care about is whether or not I liked it. So like bad reviews won't necessarily put me off something I'm excited about. But if I'm kind of lukewarm on something but all the reviews are fantastic, I am more likely, I think, to check it out. So I'm definitely excited about it. And as we were talking about earlier, there's a few things. If it's that good, yeah, I've got to play it. It's Insomniac, right? Who made probably my favorite game of the PlayStation 4 generation, the Spider-Man game, and probably my favorite game like on any system for definitely in my top 5 like the last 5 years. And then there's let's not rule this out because I do think this is a big factor, the next gen factor, right? I don't know about you, Blessing, but I have kind of felt like I said, we're good like 7 or 8 months into the next generation now, and it doesn't really like where are the games that really make you feel like the next generation has arrived? It's not terribly common for it to happen in the first year, especially because you have the hardware transition. Developers are still thinking about, well, we've got to service the last generation as well, which might hold us back from like fully going nuts on the next gen hardware. At the same time, it also takes a while for developers to really get to grips with the hardware. Something like Spider-Man or Last of Us Part 2 simply would not have been possible in the first year of the PlayStation 4. It takes years of like really understanding how to really, really get every last, drop of performance out of that hardware, which is why you generally tend to see the best games on a platform coming towards the end, at least from a technical standpoint. So it takes a while for the hardware arrives, but the next gen game, the true next gen game experiences tend not to arrive until a bit later when the developers have really had a chance to kind of get to grips with the hardware. And it sounds like Ratchet and Clank might be the first one that really feels like, oh yeah, this is pod racing, like this is next gen gaming. That's the experience that I've been waiting for. Maybe this is the first one that will really blow my socks off, in that next gen context.
I think this is the one that'll introduce a lot of people to that exact thing that you're talking about. Because for me personally, I would put both Returnal and Demon Souls in that conversation. Demon Souls, when I booted up, I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And Returnal, I think, doubles down on that in terms of how good it looks, in terms of all the effects, all the particles that you have on screen, but then also how it works with the DualSense. I think Ratchet is another chapter in that ongoing story of next gen. But it is the chapter that is going to, I think, speak to the widest amount of people, because that is a franchise that way more people have interest in. Returnal is a roguelite. Demon Souls is a Souls game, right? We all know how difficult it can be for a lot of people to get invested in either of those genres. You do have like games like, I think, Spider-Man Miles Morales and other cross-gen games that I would say take advantage of next gen pretty well, but it's more so in iterative ways, right? It is more so in, oh, here's a performance mode that would only be possible on PS5. Here's the textures looking better. Here's better resolution. Here are these more iterative things that that are awesome, because they do quote unquote or technically take advantage of the PS5, but don't necessarily blow our socks off in terms of this is what next gen can do. I think Ratchet and Clank is for sure going to bring people in
No,
that way.
I absolutely agree. We have to think about next gen in terms of more than just graphics. That's always the front and center, right? Because that's what they can show you. We can see screenshots, we can see video. That's when you think about next gen historically, and I've been around for a lot of next gens, for all the way from 8-bit, 16-bit, 32, 64, and then everything since. You generally, the first thing you think about is graphical improvements, right? Because that's the kind of the front face of it all. But there are so many different ways that next gen hardware can be deployed and improve the quality of the gaming experience. And I think we've really seen that this year. Like, it's not the sexiest thing, but when you actually experience it for the first time, it is so fucking good. Almost instantaneous load times. How fucking good is that? Like, we love that. That's actually become one of the sexiest features of next gen. It's like the first time I was really experiencing that on both platforms, particularly with quick resume on Xbox. My God, it's amazing. Oh shit, I don't have to wait around anymore. Like wait, you got to put the controller down. Oh wait, I have to pick it up again. Like, the game's already ready for me. I'm so used to waiting. That's actually been probably the biggest kind of shift in the way that we think about games in a next gen context. Graphics, yes, and Ratchet and Clank does look like it's tremendous, but also fair play to Insomniac. I think this is very clever. They clearly looked at what the PlayStation 5 could offer them in terms of the engineering and the hardware and what they could do with it. The whole idea of, well, we have this super fast SSD now that can pull graphics from anywhere. How do we really illustrate that in a gameplay context? Well, what if we just give you like a portal or a rift that will let you kind of zap between areas and there's no loading at all, and you can basically go from one area to another where you'd typically expect there to be a load time, but now it's just instant and seamless. That to me is a great way to demonstrate what the new next gen hardware can do in a relevant gameplay context. So really well done, Insomniac, for finding all kinds of ways to make this feel like what many people are saying is the first truly next gen game. Well played.
Yeah, I can't wait for to see what more people even think about the game as people start to get their hands on it at release. I've been pretty impressed by the reviews. After playing the game, I was very curious to see how it would review, because I love the game, but there are things here and there that I can point out of things that I don't think necessarily blew me away or knocked me back in the way that I think of a Last of Us Part 2 is doing, or the way I think of a God of War 2018 as doing. And so I was really looking forward to seeing how people thought about it, and to see that people are over the moon on it. It seems to be getting a 9 out of 10 average, which is really impressive. I think that does speak to just how technically marvelous the game is. Like, it is a beautiful game, runs super well. Like, it's really good, and so can't wait to see more people.
How's the DualSense stuff? Does it show off the controller as well?
Oh yeah, dude, it's great. I don't know if you saw the preview where they were walking around Nefarious City, and you have the club located in a certain place that you can kind of hear through the 3D audio, like the location of the club. If you go into that club, the way that the music pulsates in the club vibrates through the DualSense in a way that I've never felt before. Like
Oh,
it
cool. I
feels
like
super
that.
unique and super cool. So that's awesome. But then also all the weapons have DualSense functionality and the adaptive triggers in the way that changes how you use each of them. Like a lot of them have a secondary fire that you have to pull through on R2 to actually do, which I think is good functionality. Returnal did a very similar thing, and I've been liking when games do that because it's a cool thing. It makes things feel fresh and different, which I like a lot.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play it.
Gary, I want to take a quick break to tell people to go to patreon.com/kindafunnygames if they want to get the show ad free. But if you don't, you got to listen to ads. And so let us tell you about our sponsor.
This episode is brought to you by Caviar. Loving good food doesn't necessarily mean you're able to cook well. If you want a great meal but need a little help, let the restaurant come to you. Caviar can help. How often do you get the best of both worlds? If you want a chef-cooked meal but don't want to leave the comfort of your own home, Caviar can make it happen. They make it happen for me very, very often. I thank them very, very much. Caviar is the food delivery app for people that are into good food. They bring the best local restaurants directly to your doorstep. Caviar keeps it local. That's what's really cool about them. All the hidden gems in your neighborhood, they're on Caviar. Trust me, all my favorite taquerias, yeah, they've been delivered to me thanks to Caviar. Not sure what you want to eat? Let Caviar's staff picks recommend the best spots in your neighborhood to find your new favorite. And just for you guys, Caviar is offering $10 off an order of $20 or more. All you have to do is put in the offer code Kinda Funny at checkout. Remember, that's $10 off a purchase of $20 or more with offer code Kinda Funny. Download the Caviar app and use the code Kinda Funny. Come on, guys, $10 off. That's awesome. Next up, Honey. If you want to save money, you better be using Honey, baby. We all shop online and we've seen the promo code field taunt us at checkout, but thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey's the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online that range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular Best Buy to Etsy. You're saving money using Honey. I have saved so much money. Kinda Funny has saved so much money just by installing it once. It's so easy. It's in your browser and then it does all the work. When you check out, it just applies coupons. You're saving money. It's free. Why wouldn't you use this? If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It just takes a few seconds to install. It's so easy. Go to joinhoney.com/games. That's joinhoney.com/games to get Honey for free. joinhoney.com/games. And finally, let's talk about Credit Karma Money. Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win cash reimbursements for making purchases. Credit Karma has always been there to help you make better financial decisions, and now they want to help even more. With a Credit Karma Money spend account, you can be rewarded for good money habits. Just pay with your debit card, and if you win, you'll be notified on the spot, and your instant Karma cash will be added back into your spend account. Credit Karma Money has already given away over $3 million in instant Karma to over 50,000 Credit Karma members and counting. Right now, you can visit creditkarma.com/winmoney to open your free account and start winning instant Karma. Go to creditkarma.com/winmoney to sign up for free and start winning instant Karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rules. Banking services provided by MVP Bank Inc. Member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply. creditkarma.com/winmoney.
Gary, let's get back to talking about E3s with story number 3. Capcom has announced their E3 showcase. This is Michael McWhertor at Polygon. Capcom will reveal details about its upcoming lineup during its E3 2021 showcase on Monday, June 14th. The publisher announced on Tuesday. Capcom's E3 showcase promises news on the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Monster Hunter Rise, and Resident Evil Village. The Capcom E3 2021 showcase starts at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time on June 14th and will stream on E3's official Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter channels. While Capcom's upcoming and officially announced lineup includes the great Ace Attorney Chronicles, Monster Hunter Stories 2, Resident Evil 4 for Oculus VR, and Pragmata, the company also had much of its future releases leaked as part of a ransomware hack in 2020. Games outed as part of the leak include a new Resident Evil and Ace Attorney titles planned for release in 2021. And then to add a little bit more context, I'm pulling this from Video Games Chronicle. The all-digital E3 2021 runs from June 12th to June 15th and includes a 4-day live broadcast hosted by Alex Goldenboy Mendez, Jackie Jing, and Greg Miller, featuring publisher showcases, press conferences, industry panels, and live streams. I only included that for the Greg Miller part. But Gary, Are you
Yes.
looking forward to Capcom E3? Does that excite you at all?
Monster Hunter doesn't. What do I want to see from Capcom?
Is there anything that Capcom could announce? Because like for what we have, right? Like it's Monster Hunter, it's Ace Attorney, and it's Resident Evil Village, probably DLC or something along those lines.
I'll take a new Dead Rising.
Ooh, that's a good call. That's a really good call.
I think I mentioned this on a previous. I can't remember which show it was because I do XCast as well. Maybe it was no. I think it was XCast. I would even be happy with a next gen because this is obviously very very popular right now. This trend. A next gen remake of the first Dead Rising. Just give that a revamp because it's still a great game. But I'd like to see a new entry in the Dead Rising series. I'd also like to see Capcom is one of the few companies left around that has a really really storied gaming history. I mean, they go all the way back to the halcyon days of kind of 8-bit gaming. I don't know, I have very fond memories of Bionic Commando and shit like that. Like, I like to see Capcom reach into its historical archives a little bit and bring back some classics in a new way. But if I'm looking for that nexus between what I would like to see happen and what I think could happen, I'd like to see a new Dead Rising game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like from leaked reports we've gotten in the past, like they've talked about Resident Evil 4 remake being a possibility, and I don't know if this would be the E3 to show it off because that all depends on where they're at.
I guess that's the next one in line, right? And Resident Evil 4 is probably one of the
Probably.
most well-liked Resident Evil games ever made. So,
Yeah, and you
do you think
imagine like
do you think that is that in the offing? Do we know anything about that?
we don't know anything about it aside from what's been leaked, which hasn't been much. Like pretty much what's been leaked is its existence.
I would
And
actually
you
add that
imagine
to
coming
my
off of
list.
Village, it could be a good one, right? Like
So
we just got Resident Evil
so
Village, which people like and is very similar to
yeah.
a Resident Evil 4 setting.
So they're on it. So right now they're riding on a little bit of a high with Resident Evil because Village has obviously been very well received. My wife and I both loved that Resident Evil 2 remake. Really, really, really liked it. The Resident Evil 3 remake we didn't bother with because it just didn't seem like it was as good as the second one. But I never played Resident Evil 4. And so a remake would be a perfect opportunity. You have to remember there's always two markets for these remakes, right? It's people that want to go back and revisit the fun times they had when they first played it, but then there's the people that missed it the first time around, and it's a great opportunity for them to be introduced to it, with a new, shiny coat of paint and next gen graphics and all that kind of stuff. I'm in that second category.
Dude, I'm in that category too. Like I really want them to do a Resident Evil 4 remake because I kind of missed the boat on the original Resident Evil 4. Whenever I go back to that game, it's that thing where you go back to a game from 2004 and it feels like you're playing an old game in the way that it controls. And I know many Resident Evil 4 fans will defend Resident Evil 4 to this day and say that game doesn't need a remake. But everybody wins when you remake that game, right? Resident Evil 4 fans get a modern, more beautiful looking Resident Evil 4, and people who might not be able to go back to Resident Evil 4 get to hopefully get a version that aligns with modern standards of gaming, right?
I gotta believe it's gonna happen.
Like RE2 remake, oh boy. Like
I
that's
gotta believe it's gonna happen. Sooner or later, you get to a point where the games aren't old enough to really remake them. I know a lot of people complain about Mass Effect, like if it was appropriate for them to remake that when the games aren't really that old. I personally think yes. I think the Legendary Edition is terrific. But Resident Evil 4 is probably the most recent one before they would want to have to take a break. But given that they've really done well with these remakes, Resident Evil is really, really popular, and everyone loves Resident Evil 8 right now. 7 was great. Again, I've not played it, but just from what I know as an observer of video games, I know that Resident Evil 4 is really, really well liked. I mean, I don't know, is it too much of a stretch to say like it's the most well liked? If you did a poll for what's the best Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 4 would be in the shout, right?
There's so many people who I know that would say RE4 is their favorite game of all time. Like RE4 is one of those games people hold up there as like an all-timer status.
Yeah, so I would like to see. Okay, so I'll give you my wish list for Capcom now because this conversation's helped me figure it out. I would like to see an all new Dead Rising game, and I would like to see the Resident Evil 4 remake. I'd be very pleased with both of those things.
How do you feel about the fighting games? Because it's been a while since we've seen Street Fighter, and I think Street Fighter 6 has to be somewhere on the horizon since we're in a new generation, and they probably want to put out a Street Fighter for the new generation. And there's also Marvel vs. Capcom that they had, and the last Marvel vs. Capcom wasn't a good game. Like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was one that many people didn't like for many reasons, and I would love to see them give that one another try. Maybe do Marvel vs. Capcom 4 or something along those lines to try and bring
It's
it
it's
back and
it's
actually put the X-Men in it.
it's really hard for me to think of a gaming genre that I know or care about less than fighting games. I totally respect their place in the gaming landscape, and they're a huge part of gaming history. And there's obviously a massive, massive, massive market out there for fighting games, and they'll be making Street Fighter games until the heat death of the universe. I get it. There's always going to be demand for Street Fighter is always going to be the king of the fighting game genre. There's lots of other great fighting games out there, but Street Fighter is it, right? Street Fighter is the nipples ultra of the fighting game milieu. And
I like the vocabulary, but dude, that was beautiful.
what other gaming podcasts are you going to hear somebody say Street Fighter is the nipples ultra of the fighting game milieu? Like, how fucking pretentious
That's a quotable
is that?
right there. That was a quotable. That was great.
But I can't play them. I'm not good at them. I get my ass kicked every time. I'm a button masher. I can't do combos. I don't know what's going on. I get frustrated with them.
Dude, Gary, I love fighting games. I absolutely adore fighting games. Street Fighter is the one that I'm super trash at, and I don't know why I'm so bad at that game. It is such a difficult fighting game for me. But that said, like, I would love to see it. I think Street Fighter 6 would be a get hype moment at an E3 press conference or a Capcom presentation. That, or if they did bring back MVC and just acted like Infinite didn't happen. If they brought back Marvel versus Capcom, because if you remember with Infinite, the whole thing was not only was the game just not that great, but they were missing out on a lot of characters because Marvel had a deeper say in it, and they didn't necessarily want to promote X-Men characters as much in the game, and so they didn't have like the classic Marvel versus Capcom characters you want, like Wolverine and plenty others that people see as core to that game. If they announced a new one and we're like, hey, they're back, like, you're gonna get Wolverine, you're gonna get Deadpool, you're gonna get the characters that you love, and you're gonna get also, like, new Capcom character, like, basically just announce a Marvel vs. Capcom that is bringing back all the stuff that we love about Marvel vs. Capcom. I think that would be a thing that would get such a pop. But yeah, like, there's also things like Pragmata was a game that was announced recently that could maybe make another showing. The thing that gets me excited about Capcom's E3 is that, like, aside from the things they've talked about, I'm sure we're not going to get a ton of new announcements, but there is potential that we get like one or two things that we weren't expecting, and it could be just any of the things we talked about. And if that's the case, then I'll be pretty happy with it. Like, if we get the one or two things that are new, fresh, and exciting, I think that'll be the one that gets me hype about the Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom's one of those companies that it's not going to be like in the top tier of the showcases that people are looking at for E3, but they do have some really great stuff, and I think there is a chance they might surprise us with something that we didn't see coming. I hope so. Again, that's what I want from E3. People say, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? I say, well, we'll see it when we see it, but I want the thing that we don't even know is coming. I want the big surprise.
Oh yeah. Let's move over to story number 4. Bandai Namco denies it's bringing Scarlet Nexus to Xbox Game Pass. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. Bandai Namco has denied reports it's set to bring its upcoming science fiction RPG Scarlet Nexus to Xbox Game Pass. Earlier this week, it was claimed that Microsoft had secured the title as a day one release for its subscription service, similar to how it signed Square Enix's Outriders earlier this year. However, when asked to comment on the claims, a Bandai Namco spokesperson issued a straight denial to VGC on Tuesday. Quote, "We have no plans to bring Scarlet Nexus to Xbox Game Pass at this time, and are excited for its launch on Xbox Series X, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC on June 25th, they said. And so if you're out there and you're looking forward to Scarlet Nexus on Xbox Game Pass, sad news for you, but good on them for coming out and clarifying, because I'm sure for them, they probably hear those rumors percolating and are like, we got to shut this down real quick because people are not going to buy our game. We need people to pre-order if they think if they think it's coming to Xbox Game Pass, that's going to stunt the pre-order numbers. And so good on them for clarifying. I'm sure that also goes back to them also wanting to maintain a good relationship with PlayStation and not having like rumors swell up about partnerships and all that stuff if they're trying to like keep a fair thing going with different partners. Is Scarlet Nexus one you're looking forward to at all, Gary? Does that one speak to you?
I've never heard of it, but I can speak to the broader issue here, which I do think that the way that rumors get out of control on the internet now is becoming a big problem for game companies. We see that, where this is like, I think probably is most seen and most well known is with the Nintendo Directs, right? Nintendo never ever tells you anything about what is going to be in the direct. They just say, here, there's a new direct coming up. They tell you the date and the time and the link that you can go watch it at, but they never say, oh, we're going to tease Mario or we're going to tease that. They tell you nothing, right? And yet the internet goes nuts, and all of the YouTube bullshit rumor mongers with their red arrows and their clickbait headlines will say, well, Nintendo's going to reveal the next Zelda or the next Mario or Metroid's coming back or Star Fox or whatever. And people get all fucking excited about it because they think it's real. And when it's none of those things, they go, God damn it, Nintendo, you've let us down again. And Nintendo's sitting there thinking, like, what the fuck? We never said any of that. You assholes came up with that all by yourself. You've let your fucking selves down. We haven't let you down. All we said was, here's a direct. We gave you that, and we gave you a bunch of shit. You decided what you thought was gonna be in it, and just because we didn't deliver what you thought you wanted, we're the assholes. No, you're the assholes.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, that was a very good rant. I love that. Let's move over to our last story number 5 of the Roper Report. Playdate looks really cool. I have a trailer. Or I think this is like a longer presentation they did, a video here. Kevin, you can pull it up. Before I even get into the story from Sam Byford at The Verge. Gary, how much do you know about Playdate? Is this something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited about the play. I love anything that's weird or different or trying something new. We did experience the Playdate at in the before times. I remember PAX West 2019. They had it there. And so I actually did get to play with it. I got to do like the hand crank and the whole thing. My kid loves it. She still asks me all the time, when is the Playdate coming out? When is the Playdate coming out? She loved the little hand crank. And I loved kind of just the delightful simplicity of it. I'm always a big fan when anyone is willing to try something different and take a risk. And maybe it's silly, maybe it's a gimmick. We don't know if it's going to work, but they're trying something different. It's not just the latest iteration of an idea that we've seen a million times before. It's something new. Yes, I am excited for it. I don't know why it's taken so long. Again, they had, games running on it. Obviously in just a prototype in PAX 2019. We're now almost 2 years, at least 18 months past that. It's obviously been delayed. I don't know what the difficulties are, but I remain optimistic about it.
I mean,
and I hope it does well.
It could be.
Well, that obviously hasn't helped, but it has been a long delay. I remain very optimistic. I don't think it's going to set the world on fire. I think at best it's going to occupy a very kind of popular niche for itself. But like I said, anytime somebody tries to break the conventional paradigms of what we think when we think about video gaming, I'm all for it. And again, for that, just in the broader context, I hope it succeeds, not just for its own sake. I think the people that are making it are cool people, and I hope it succeeds not only for their sake, but if it succeeds, it gives license to the next person to say, maybe we should try something different. If it fails, the opposite is true. I see what happens when somebody tries to do something different. When the Playdate went down in flames and a lot of people lost their money. Let's not try something different. Let's just do the same thing everyone else is doing. I want to see different things succeed because it makes it easier for the next different thing to succeed.
Exactly. And to catch people up, right? If you somehow missed out on what the Playdate is, it's basically this cool niche handheld device that's being developed by Panic. And it looks like a Game Boy with a crank is basically the best summed up way to put it. And the games on it have like 1-bit graphics to them, very simplistic looking games. But the whole hook is that it's going to come out with a season of games, and the games are going to come out weekly for the device. And so every week your device is going to update with new games to play on it. This morning they put out a presentation about it, which is what it's showing on screen right now. And they're going through some of the games, and they're going through some of the new features that they've been working on for it. And so I have Sam Byford's article from The Verge, who breaks down some of the new info we know. Panic has announced that the Playdate, its $179 handheld console with a crank and a black and white screen, will be available to pre-order in July, with shipping starting later in the year. The company doesn't have a specific date lined up just yet, but says it'll provide at least a week's notice before orders open. Panic is doing its best to avoid a PS5/RTX 3080 type stock situation by implementing its own ordering system. Quote, "The sooner you order, the sooner you'll get one, but we're not going to close the door on you," end quote, says co-founder Cable Sasser in a video update. The company is also announcing an adorable stereo dock accessory for the Playdate, which makes it look like an old TV and works as both a Bluetooth speaker and a pen holder. Panic hasn't given pricing or release.
Look at the pen holder.
Yeah, the pen holder is awesome.
Is it?
The article
That's
says Panic
awesome.
hasn't given pricing, but they have given pricing.
That
It
is
going to
brilliant. I
be-
want it even more now. Look at that little kid. It's adorable.
It looks
So
How
this
can
is
you not love that?
this is
Fantastic.
brilliant, but Superman
brilliant.
costume dumb.
Wait, say that again. Sorry, you cut out for a
I
second.
said
for us.
this is brilliant, but Superman costume dumb.
Damn, just random shots at the Superman
Well,
Superman costume.
well, I mean,
No,
if this
I'm
were,
asking.
if this
Oh,
were
you're
just,
talking
if
about
this was just
asking
an empty,
Gary.
Kevin, if this were just an empty box that looked like a game console, but it was really just an empty box wearing a game console costume, I'd agree with you.
Let's
but
be
you're comparing
realistic.
apples and oranges.
This is a gimmick that you're gonna buy. Well, you'll probably just be given it, and then you're gonna look at it for like two days, and you'll put it down, and it'll be a nice little thing in the corner.
Don't know me. You don't. You're talking like you know me, Kevin. You don't
I know
shit.
you well.
I have been on the. I have
well.
actually. Have you played the PlayDate?
No, but I know that you
Because
have.
I fucking have.
And
I know more
that
about
you-
it than
like,
you.
I
I've been on the
guarantee
pre-order
you-
list from the beginning. I am going to pay
play
cash
it
for it. My
5
kid and I are
times.
going to have one day one.
Maybe your
Kevin,
kid. Maybe your kid
I
plays
feel
it
like
for a
you
little
woke
while.
up on the wrong. You've been having a pop. You've been having a dig at me since the very first second I came online
That's
this morning.
not true.
Even
That's
before
not
the
true.
show.
That's
I don't
not
know what's
true.
going on. Someone's rustled your jimmies, Kevin. It wasn't
Rustled
me.
my
You need to take this up with whoever's fucked you over. It's not. I'm not the problem, Kevin. You need to sort your own
Okay.
shit out. I'm just here doing
First
my
of all,
job.
I don't know what the argument is happening. The argument is here.
Kevin is.
Second of all, listen,
Kevin's
it's
got an
E3
attitude
season.
this morning.
It's E3 season, all right. It's a very exciting
Not
time to
like
be alive.
this.
The Playdate got new information. Hey, it's a happy time. Let's all be happy, guys.
Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about
all
happy
be
hand
happy.
crank gaming. I don't know why Kevin wants to make it like a big,
Go
turn
back
into the Jerry
to our
Springer
corners.
show.
I
We're
just
supposed to
think
be
that-
happy.
Guys aren't Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul out here, all right? We don't have to be fighting. We don't have to be throwing hands. Just go back to our corners and have fun with the Playdate. To wrap up the new info, finally, Panic has announced 21 out of the 24 titles that will feature in the Playdate's first season. Details are intentionally kept secret until each game is automatically downloaded onto the service or onto the device. Owners will get 2 games a week over 12 weeks. And then with that, Nibel did have some bullet points here. The stereo dock, which we were looking at with the pen holder, was revealed. Of course, you put your Playdate on that thing to charge it up. There's an app called Pool Suite FM that is a radio app for the dock holder where you can just listen to lo-fi tunes, which is really fun.
I want that thing on my desk.
Dude,
I
I
want it.
want that thing so badly. It's so fun. It's so quirky. It's so cool. Here's a fun one. Mars After Midnight game is announced. It's by Lucas Pope, who did the Return of the Obra Dinn game. So the same dude who worked on Return of the Obra Dinn is working on a game for Playdate, and he showed off some of that game. They also announced the Playdate Pulp game editor, which is basically an app that allows you to make your own Playdate games on a browser, which is really cool. Again, pre-order start in July.
So let's just be clear: new game on a new console from the makers of The Legend of the Obra Dinn. That's not exciting to Kevin, but Spirit Store Superman in Fortnite is.
Oh my god, it's so exciting. But that's the thing. Here's the thing. Like legitimately, how many, especially now that there's a new season, I'm going to put I will probably play at the very least 1 hour a day until I hit level 100. And that's not equally spread out. Like some days we'll have 3 hours. So I'm going to be seeing that Superman skin many times. Many times. Gary's going to play this little box 4 times. And then he's going to lose the charger and then just be like, oh yeah, it looks cool. And it holds my pen.
Lose the charger.
To be clear, the dock is the charger. You're not
You
gonna
know what
lose
they
that on
should
that
do?
pen
I don't know if
holder.
it's possible, but they should make the hand crank the charger. You should just be able to crank that thing. You know,
Yeah,
like one of those.
Oh,
Can you
emergency
just
radios.
imagine
Old school.
Gary cranking for 5 minutes there, being like, "Oh yeah, hold on, I just want to get one more round in before we
Listen,
go."
when it comes to
I was like,
cranking
damn,
it,
I'm low on
Kevin,
battery.
I'm a
Let me
fucking
just
pro.
sit
Yeah,
here.
I was fucking cranking it before you were born, Kevin. Don't worry about that.
Guys, I'm very excited about the Playdate. It looks really cool. I really want to get it. I hope I'm able to get the pre-order. But the pre-order date in July is just so far away. If I want to know where I can go, wait, what is going on in the doc here? In the doc here it is written, but Dying Light 2 is so far away. Why is Dying Light 2 written here?
What?
Where is this from? Anyway, I'm gonna throw it out. If I want to know where I can go to mom grop shops to get games out today, where would I look? Somebody
The
fuck with the doc.
The official list of upcoming software. No, wait. Is it? Kevin's fucking. I'm telling you, Kevin has fucked me all up today. The
I didn't do
official
shit.
list.
I didn't do
of,
shit.
What is it again? The official
Just
list of
open
it's
the
not
dock,
upcoming.
Gary.
You
have
got it right.
access
The
to
Is it
official list
upcoming?
of upcoming
The official
software.
list of upcoming software on each and every platform, as listed by the Kinda Funny Games Daily show hosts, each and every day. Fuck you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Kevin.
Gary's never gonna play this toy.
Out today, we got Backbone for PC, Chivalry 2 for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. I gotta say, I love the chaotic energy we've created in the studio today. All right, keep it up. Edge of Eternity is out today for PC. The Elder Scrolls Online is out today for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S. The Elder Scrolls Online Gates of Oblivion is out for PS4 and Xbox One. And then Gwent's Price of Power, Once Upon a Pyre expansion is now available. New dates for you. The Eternal Castle Remastered will launch on PS4 and PS5 on the 24th of June. Legends of Kingdom Rush is launching this Friday on Apple Arcade. And then Urban Trial Tricky Deluxe Edition is coming to Windows PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on July 22nd, 2021. Then we got a deal of the day for you. Starting today, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members can enjoy a new 30-day trial of Disney Plus via perks. And so if you've been slacking on getting that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and you also want to watch some Loki this week, oh shit, that is this week.
Or some Bluey.
That's
Don't forget
Or some
Bluey.
Bluey.
It's on Disney Plus. Best show on television.
Kevin, what's your plan? Are you staying up midnight to watch Loki?
Oh yeah, I'm staying up midnight.
Hell
Fucking
yeah.
hell, I
Can't wait for it. Let's see here. I think now it's
Is it
time.
the actual Loki, though, or is it just a guy dressed up like Loki?
Kevin, you have to answer that question.
I get
fun
like
fact,
Kevin's in either
fun
way.
fact,
I refuse to enter this debate.
You can dress up
Like
as
fucking
Loki already.
Kevin could stay up until midnight, and then the show comes on, and it's fucking Greg dressed up like Loki going, yeah, let's Loki it up. And Kevin's like, yes, this is what I signed up for. This is just as good as the actual Loki.
I don't know what you mean.
to be fair,
like it's their skins. Otherwise, it would change the dynamics of the gameplay, and you don't want to do that. You want it no matter what skin you either earned for free or bought. You want it all be fair.
I get it.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
I'm
Keep
not-
cranking
I'm not
your whole
arguing
little
on-
box.
Not to be devil's advocate, the Loki that we're getting in the show is indeed a different Loki than we're used to. It's not the Loki from our universe.
It's
And
a
so
Loki
technically
from the
it is
past.
somebody
It's a Loki from the past. It's the Loki from
from
Avengers.
the past, but like a different like timeline.
Bad Loki.
essentially.
Yeah. Well, not.
Yeah.
He's in a different
And so
timeline.
what
but
I'm
he
saying here is that
our
like
Loki.
Gary is somewhat accurate. That it isn't like it isn't
Yeah. All right.
like,
Nailed it, Gary.
a true
Nailed it.
Loki. Anyway,
Yeah,
you can
I
go over to
suppose that was the point I was
kindafunny.com/you're-wrong.
No, it
You
wasn't.
can go over to
Don't you do that.
kindafunny.com/you're
Don't
wrong.
you do that.
Where you can write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so you can correct it for those watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and on podcast services around the globe. Let's see here. Let's see here. Prof D277 says, you guys said that Morty isn't in Fortnite, but he is unlockable as a harvesting tool where he looks like a hammer. Also, for Kevin, Superman and Rick are part of the battle pass, so you have to grind.
I'm already in.
So you'll have to grind to get those.
I mean,
or
that's
pay a
great.
shitload of
So I
money.
don't have to pay for them. Good.
Yeah.
Even
No, Kevin's 1000%
better.
going to grind for those.
I hit level 100 in the last two seasons, and I intend to do it on this one.
Or you could just order a Superman costume on Amazon, have it tomorrow.
Be quick.
Have the
But I
same amount of
can't play it
powers
in
as
my
the character in the
game.
game will have.
A live, you're wrong. Superman is currently not like in the battle pass. It seems that Superman's gonna unlock in like 2 months. Just a
as
heads
the
up.
extra
What?
thing.
You gotta wait 2 whole months.
I'm
Yeah,
ready.
it said like it coming in 65 days when I opened it up.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter. I'm gonna unlock it again. Not a huge fan of the Superman skin, but better than no Superman
I
skin.
mean, the black and white one is dope though, Kev.
Yeah, I heard people in the chat have been telling me about that. I haven't Googled it.
There's
yet.
a black and white Superman skin?
It's a
It's
shadow.
the
version.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I might look into that. That actually sounds pretty tight. This week's hosts for Kinda Funny Games Daily go like this. We got 3 more days left in the week, so tomorrow's gonna be me and Tim. Thursday is Greg and Andy, and then Friday it's me and
Oh,
Greg.
shit.
If you're watching this live on Twitch right
that.
now, what's that, Kevin?
That's the shadow. It's not shadow. It's like almost. The
Oh,
back from
I like
Dad.
that.
This
Isn't
is
that
See, if
the-
Greg Miller was here, this would be the point where Greg Miller would give me the whole lore of what the Superman is. Oh, this is it from the new 55 comics where Superman
Isn't
was
this
really
just
evil.
Death of Superman when he comes back?
no, it looks different.
know,
Death of
man.
Superman, he has long hair.
I don't know
not the
Superman
weird-
super well. He's fucking
well, then
boring. You know what
don't
I'm saying,
talk-
guys?
No, he's not. You're boring.
All Might is a better version.
I
of
agree
Superman,
with
I'm
Kevin
just
on
gonna
that.
say it.
Superman's not boring.
Thank you. It's
All right, maybe
If you're
Superman the
live on
character
Twitch-
is not boring, but people don't know how to write for Superman.
100%,
There
and
you
that's
go.
the biggest problem with Superman.
I think that's
Gary, make a good
closer.
Superman.
Yes.
Make a good Superman
Okay.
story.
All right.
If you're watching this live on Twitch, after this is Snow Michael, Andy, and Nick watching some fun clips, doing a Photoshop challenge, and playing some Apex and or Warzone. Gary, didn't you do a panel about Superman? Like a PAX panel about how to write a Superman? Or maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was Greg Miller.
Don't think
It was
so.
Greg Miller. He had a lot of cool
It was
people
Greg?
on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, there you go. Of course, this has been Kinda Funny Games Daily, each and every weekday live right here on twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. We run you through the nerdy news you need to know about. We have a Patreon post show for those that are subbed at the silver level of patreon.com/kindafunnygames. So stick around for that. Otherwise, until next time, game daily.